This conference will now be recorded.
Hello everyone. Welcome to this session. In this session, we are going to discuss that in the remaining 1 month, what sequence should you be studying your GK material so that you are able to make the best use of the time, depending upon how easy it is to remember those things, or say what's the probability of getting higher number of questions from those topics. In between, even certain ebooks say which are small in length, and they have a probability of having say one question coming from them. I have put them at the higher priority so that if you are done with say 10, 12, 15 pages, you can be assured that if say one question is going to come from it, you are going to get it correct, rather than say studying the first 70, 80 pages from some other topics ebook from where 3 to 4 questions are expected to come. So it's always easier to study 10 to 15 pages first rather than studying 75 to 80 pages. So few things have been kept in mind while I have come up with this sequence, and I hope that this sequence is going to help you. Simultaneously, I will also be telling you while going through this sequence, I will also tell you that what kind of questions can come from these topics so that you can study these ebooks with the same perspective uh, from which the questions may come in the exam, and make your study of these ebooks much more efficient. In case you have studied or you have already studied some of these ebooks and you are confident of those topics, then you can just skip those ebooks and start from the other ebooks. So for example, if you have already studied government schemes and books and authors, you can directly start from sports. Or say if you have done books and authors, you can first complete government schemes and then move on to sports. So this also depends upon that what all ebooks you have already covered personally. But in general, this is the broad sequence which you should be following for the remaining days. You can either revise all the ebooks and or you can first study the ebooks which are there in this sequence. The first there are x number of ebooks in this particular list. Now at least the first 50% is a must to do, then the remaining 50% you can do basis the time which is in your hand, because a lot of you are at different stages of your preparation. I get to know that some of you have already covered the entire GK material once, some of you are starting from scratch. So depending upon where you are today, you can tweak this in terms of, but at least the first 50% of this list is a must to do one. That does not mean that the other things you can leave if you have time left. The only thing for that is, if you have less time, then at least do the first 50% of this particular set. As you all can see in the list, the first ebook at the highest priority is Government Schemes 2020. Now you already have this ebook in your course. Some of you might have gone through it. Now what kind of questions can come from government schemes? Let me tell you. uh, they will ask you, they are not going to ask you the budgets allocated. Simran, I'll be covering all the ebooks as their turn comes. So let me start from the top. I'll go till the bottom. Don't worry. Now, government schemes ebook. They are going to ask you government schemes questions. Now, where they are going to ask you that X scheme was launched for this purpose. What was the name of the scheme? Or X scheme was launched for dash purpose. What was the purpose? What was the target audience, or the target achievement which was set for this scheme? Or what is the latest milestone which is achieved in this particular government scheme? These are the four broad types of questions which they are going to ask you from government schemes. They are not going to ask you that in which month was this scheme launched. This is a very, very rare thing. You don't need to remember the dates at all. If you want to remember the launch time of a scheme, just remember the month. They are not going to ask you the time. They are not going to ask you the date. Max to max, they may ask you month, but even the month will usually not be asked. typically they will not ask you that what was the exact budget which was allocated to a particular scheme, unless it is a very popular scheme. Only for very popular schemes, which almost all of you who must, you must be hearing news or reading newspapers, you would know that which are the most popular schemes of the current government. Apart from the very popular government schemes, for the other schemes you don't need to remember their budget. It is just for the popular schemes that you need to remember the budget. Otherwise you just need to remember the name of the scheme, the purpose of the scheme, what was the target audience, and is there any latest milestone which was achieved as per that particular scheme. So for example, there could be a certain scheme for farmers, there could be a certain scheme for children, there could be a certain scheme for industry. So you should remember that who is the target audience of a government scheme. So that's what you need to remember while you are studying the government schemes ebook. Is it clear? Is it clear, everyone? And this ebook has a very high priority. Charu, yes, this is a very high priority ebook. You will get questions from it. It cannot be made small. You have to know as many government schemes as possible. But when you are studying, first you should remember all the prominent and the popular government schemes. But then you should try to at least go through all the government schemes at least once or twice. At least you should be knowing the name of the scheme and the purpose of the scheme, if not the time or the budget. But the purpose of the scheme is something which you should definitely be knowing. For as many schemes as launched in 2020, if there is any scheme which is launched in 2019 or 18, you can still skip it. But for every scheme launched in 2020, you should be aware of it, at least the name and the purpose. There is no running away from government schemes ebook. It's a very important one. Particular state for which, so for example, Neha, so yesterday, Prime Minister launched something for J&K. That's a very unique case, but otherwise, most of the schemes of the central government are for entire nation. It is typically for which audience is it launched? Mostly 99% of the schemes launched by the central government are for entire India. It could be, say, for below poverty people, it could be for farmers, it could be for children, it could be for women. That's a different case. But mostly all the central government schemes are for entire India. The second ebook, books and authors. This comes second in the priority order because every year 1 to 2 question will come from books and authors. Rarely there has been a year in which no question has come from book and author. So book and author is another very important ebook, followed by sports. Both books and authors and sports ebooks are important because every year they together will see at least 2 to 4 questions. So you have to study books and authors, you have to study books. Yes, Anamika, the recent books, as well as say a very popular older book as well could come. They may ask you who was say the author of Merchant of Venice or Tempest. They can ask you if you ask me from the very popular ones and the older ones, but 99% chances are for a recent book to come. 99% times they will ask you a recent book, but a very old and a very popular book can also come. Now you just need to remember the name of the book and the author. Nothing else is what you need to remember here. So this is a very simple thing, a simple list of books, simple list of authors. You need to remember them. Sports, there are multiple sports which happen. You don't need to worry a lot about international sports. So international sports part is what you can leave. As in, say, if I say that something in some other part of the world happened where India did not even participate, you don't need to remember those sports. You need to remember those sports where India won something. So primarily any sport where India won something or India stood second or third, especially say if we are talking about any multi-nation tournament where India won certain number of medals or etc., you should remember them. Typically, they will ask you who won this particular trophy or this particular trophy is associated with which sport. These are the two types of questions which they will ask you. And thirdly, they may ask you if say India participated but India did not win, they may ask you that, at what position did India end it. So that's what they could ask you. They could ask you, who is the number one badminton player in India, who is the number one cricketer in India right now. So those kind of questions, they can be asked from the sports ebook. But the international sports part is what you can completely skip. You can skip all those sports where India did not participate at all or did not win at all. Is it clear? Is it clear about sports? That how to study sports, how to study books and authors, how to study government schemes? Are these three ebooks clear? Now, the fourth, no Shibashish, you don't need to remember different terms in different sports. Just remember it for some of the very prominent sports, like say cricket, football, tennis, badminton, uh, the sports which India plays. So Shibashish, primarily for sports which India plays, you should remember the different terms. Okay. The fourth ebook which you need to study is social and economic issues. I would say that I will be sharing with you one MCQ type of social and economic issues ebook on December 31. Wait for that to come. Go through it. The current ebook, I have already told in one of the previous sessions that what all to study from the current social economic issues ebook which is there with you. But wait for the MCQ based ebook which I will provide you on social and economic issues on December 31st. Uh, yes, Simran, it is very important. It's very important. What I'm just saying, that please go through the previous, I guess couple of classes back I told that what all to study from social economic issues ebook. Study those things from the particular ebook. Plus, we will be providing you one MCQ based social economic issues ebook on December 31st. Go through that ebook. But social and economic issues is a very important topic. No one can afford to leave social and economic issues and go for test exam. So I've already told in one of the previous sessions, I guess couple of sessions back, that what all to study from the ebook which is there in your course material already. So go through those parts of the ebook. Plus, let us provide you one MCQ based social economic issues ebook on December 31st, and then you can go through that as well. That's going to help you a lot, right? But social economic issues is a must do topic, and that's why it's on number 4 in the list. Number 5, military exercises. Very easy. You just need to remember a particular military exercise is done jointly by India and which country, or a particular military exercise is done jointly by which 2 or 3 or 4 countries. That's what you need to remember in military exercises. Name of the military exercises, countries which do it jointly. In military exercise, again, one question comes almost every 2 years, and that's why I have kept it at a higher priority. It's a easy thing. You can easily remember military exercises and the names of the countries doing it together. So please do study military exercises. Once you are done with military exercises, move on to fact sheets from July to December. December fact sheet will be provided to you in January first week. So July to December fact sheets are very important. While you are doing fact sheet, by fact sheets, as you all know, we mean current affairs. Current affairs of July to December are the most important ones, especially the current affairs related to economy, current affairs related to business, current affairs for sports and books you will already be covering. Any major awards is what you should remember. Any major award announcements, any major thing done by say NASA or any government body, or any major government schemes, which again goes back to the first ebook, is what you need to remember. You do not need to study obituaries, you don't need to study birthdays, you don't need to study those kind of things. But economy is important, business is important, achievements as a country are important. If India won any global award, you should remember that. If India got any significant achievement, you should remember that. Those kind of current affairs questions are what are going to come in the exam more. They are not going to ask you uh, what happened say in Bihar elections. Not very political kind of questions will come. So politics is what again you can keep slightly on the back burner while studying current affairs. So current affairs will be primarily focused on those areas which I told you. The other parts are what you can keep for a later time. Important dates, Gargi, yes, important days are important. These are important, and I've just covered them as a separate heading. That's why it's not covered right now. So fact sheets from July to December are important part. Once you are done with fact sheets, move on to geography. Geography, I have already told all of you what all could come. We have been taking a lot of geography related questions in the live GK quizzes, also which we do. So you all are aware of what kind of questions can come from geography. It could ask you, primarily it could ask you a particular river originates where does a particular river ends, a particular mountain range passes through which all states or country, which all states share border, which states share border with which country. They could ask you different kinds of questions around soil, crops. They can ask you questions around, say, uh, in geography, rivers, mountains, crops. Your soil is again very important. Sharing borders. These are the kind of things which they will ask you. They're not going to ask you to tell the length of a particular mountain valley range. They're not going to ask you to tell the length of the river. They're not going to ask you those kind of numbers related questions, because those numbers you can't remember, and they are not very significant for test people to remember you. It's not a UPSC exam. Yes, Simran, the geography revision ebook which I have provided is something which will take care of 90% of questions that can come from geography. Seaports are important, Anamika. Yes, you should remember seaports. Then you should know wildlife sanctuaries, where is a particular sanctuary located, where is a particular lake located. So all those kind of things they can ask you from geography. Okay. Now, after geography, the next important topic is polity, which you should study. In polity, as we have been taking up in live GK quiz sessions also, they can tell you that, they can ask you which article is related to what thing. They can give you match the right article with the right subject of it. They can ask you a few questions around fundamental rights, fundamental duties, uh, amblum, or those kind of things, but primarily they will ask you questions around articles. If why say if they ask you what was article 370 about, uh, all those kind of things, primarily focused on your articles, fundamental rights, fundamental duties, is around what they will ask you polity questions. And then certain questions around Lok Sabha seats, Rajya Sabha seats. In Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, they will primarily ask you the highest number of seats, the lowest number of seats. In between, you don't need to remember. They can ask you uh, these kind of questions from polity, more or less like what we have been covering in the live GK quiz sessions. The next one, history. I've already taken a session with all of you in for different medieval history, ancient history, modern history, what all to study. Modern history is the most important one. uh, Simran, you don't need to remember all the articles, but at least you should remember while you are reading the articles, you will know that what the subject of that particular article is important or not. And try to remember as many articles as possible, especially the ones which have been in news or are very important for any social cause or a economic cause. So if there is anything which is related to social stuff or economic stuff, you should definitely remember those articles. So there could be a certain article around untouchability. There could be a certain article around caste system. So all those things you should definitely remember, because they are related to a social cause or an economic cause. History, I have already told all of you what all to study. Majorly, this could be around the dynasties, who were the popular kings in different dynasties, who was the last ruler of a certain dynasty, who was the first ruler of a certain dynasty, and so on. Those kind of questions can come. Then the questions around wars, who won a certain war, is what they can ask you. Yes, Anamika, you can skip ancient history. Important days and dates. This is something which, again, as I have been taking up some of these questions in the live GK sessions, you should remember those dates and days. I would suggest all of you to strongly, I'll strongly recommend that when your exam will be 10 days away, please revise all the videos of the live GK sessions plus all the GK questions of the full length mock tests, because a lot of times we have seen direct questions coming from them. And even for important days and dates, while you may not be able to remember every important date, at least you should know all those important dates which have been taken up in the live GK sessions, which have been asked in the full length mock tests or in the GK topic tests, that they are must to remember. Other days and dates as much as you can remember based on your capability to mug up things, because there is no shortcut to remember days and dates. It's more of a mugging game. But at least questions taken up around important dates and dates in the live GK sessions, in the full length mock tests, and the GK topic tests, you should definitely remember. Hence, 10 days from the exam, start your revision of these three things. The next one, awards and honors. Again, primarily they could ask you who won Dada Saheb Phalke Award, who won Padma Shri Award, who won Arjuna Award, who won Dronacharya Award. Those kind of basic questions can come from awards and honors. Parveen, it's very difficult to say quantify like that. I will try to provide something around that, as in, but that will be must to remember articles. It will not be the comprehensive list. I will again say I will provide you the list as you have asked for, but that will only be must to do articles. It will not be the only to do articles. Okay, Parveen, I will provide you, give me few days, but it is, as I said, it will be must to do articles, not only to do articles, because I cannot say that out of these articles only these are important. I can definitely tell you that these are the articles which you should definitely remember. Awards and honors, as I said, very easy. The way this I will provide you in January. The rank of India in different indexes as per December 2020. You all know that a lot of indexes keep on changing almost every month or every quarter. So we will provide you one latest list of indexes in January second week, and you should remember those indexes. Mostly in exam, they will ask you indexes as per the November data or the December data. They will not ask you the older indexes, and they will not ask you the index of January because already the paper would have been made. So we will provide you one latest compiled list of rank of India in different indexes. This is an important topic. Uh, Almost every second year, one question comes from this. Indian culture and heritage, everything in this ebook needs to be studied. There is nothing to be skipped. You need to study it. Say almost one question from it comes usually every 2 years once again. Festivals in India, as we have been taking up in live GK sessions. Uh, Name of the festival, the state to which it belongs. That's it. Festival state, festival state, festival state. That's what you need to remember. They are not going to ask you to link festival to a religion or to anything else. Festival state is what you need to remember. Parveen, yes, you need to study IUCN list. Indian dances, just like we have been doing in the live GK sessions. Name of the dance, which state or union territory does the dance belong to? Simple. All the dances given in your ebook, you should try to remember as many as possible. There is no important dance or less important dance. Same with festivals. All the festivals, all the dances, you should remember with their states, as many as you can remember. Indian languages. This is a question. No, they can ask you that X language is spoken in which all states. That's how they are going to ask you. They can ask you that Bhojpuri is spoken in which all different states, Bihar, UP, Madhya Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, etc. And they can give you options like this. They can then ask you, UP and Bihar or Tamil Nadu and Bihar. These kind of options could be there. So Indian languages primarily they will ask you language and the state in which the language is spoken. You don't need to know the history of the language. You don't need to know the origin of the language. None of those kind of questions. Primarily, language and state mapping is what you need to remember for your Indian languages topic. It's an important topic. Festivals, dances, languages, they together see at least one question every year, and individually one question every 2 years. Together, one question at least every year. So these three are important. All three are smaller topics, but they are important from the exam question perspective. Tribes and culture, again, an important topic. Typically, they'll ask you that a particular tribe belongs to which state, just like we have been taking up in live GK sessions. Tribe state is what they will ask you here. Militant outfits. This is an important one. Again, you need to study militant outfits. They will tell you the name of the militant outfit, and they will ask you that to which parent organization does it belong to, or to which country does it belong to. Primarily, they are going to ask you these two kind of questions, that a particular militant outfit is supposed to be the part of which parent militant organization, a particular militant outfit is from which country, is what they are going to ask you. These two kinds of questions usually come from militant outfits. International organizations, you should know the name of the organization, you should know the global headquarter of the organization, you should know the Indian headquarter of the organization, and you should know the purpose of the organization. Four things are what you need to remember: WHO, global headquarter of WHO, Indian headquarter of WHO, and what's the purpose of WHO. Simran, it should already be there. If it is not there, it will be provided in the coming week. I'll check it whether it's there or not already. But if it's not there, it will be provided in the coming week. Ideally, it should be there. I'll get it checked. I'm sorry, I know I did not get the chance to cross check the list, but this should ideally be there already. If not, it will be provided in the coming week. Okay, so it will be provided in the coming week, not an issue. Okay, international organizations, four things, as I said, you need to study: name of the organization, global headquarter, Indian headquarter, purpose is what you need to remember. And if you can also remember, when was the last summit of this particular organization held. Gargi, all the GK live sessions recordings are there in the live video recording section. So in the live class recording section of your course, you will find all the GK quizzes and sessions. So are you clear what all to study in international organizations? Suppose say there is G7, G5, you should know the names of the countries who are the part of it. You should remember the names of the countries which are the part of SAARC, uh, countries which are the part of ASEAN. Those things you should remember. Otherwise, in terms of organizations, like say WHO, UNESCO, UNICEF, etc., you should remember the global headquarter, Indian headquarter, and what's the purpose. Neha, I will get it checked tomorrow, and if there is any recording missing, we will get it uploaded by tomorrow. Don't worry. Okay. By tomorrow evening, the entire list of live session, live class recordings will be updated. International organizations, I told, international organizations similar to summits and conferences. For summits and conferences, you should just know that, and this will typically be for a body like say ASEAN or SAARC or these kind of bodies. So you should remember that which country chaired the summit and when was the last summit held, and when is the next summit supposed to held. Typically, those summits and conferences are only important where India is the part of it. Then countries capital heads you can skip, but countries and capitals you should remember as much as you can. They are not going to ask you heads of different countries, but countries and capitals can be asked. Then once you are done with that, move on to fact sheets from April to June. Typically April to June has a very less probability to come in exam, but still to be on the safer side, do study April to June current affairs. Ecology and environmental protection. In this, you just need to remember the special government schemes or government initiatives or government policies around environmental protection. Anamika, you can skip currencies. Or if you want, if you have time, maybe you can just study currencies once, but heads is not required. Countries capitals definitely yes, currency is what you can study as along with capital, but no need to spend a lot of time on currencies. On the environmental protection side, as I said, any government initiative, government scheme, government policy around environmental protection or environmental disaster is what you should remember. That is all what is required from this particular topic, nothing else. Science, there are three subparts to it: physics, chemistry, biology. Most important is physics, then comes your biology, then comes your chemistry. You can ideally skip chemistry, but physics and bio is what you can go through once. Especially say they can ask you what are the different functions of mitochondria. Say if they're asking you something from bio, they can ask you about a, I don't know which of the following is true as per the Newton's law. Those kind of very very basic things they can ask you from science. Otherwise, typically you won't get a lot of questions from science. Paris Agreement is important. You should remember not all the protocols, but at least what's the gist of Paris Agreement? Which countries have signed it? Which countries have denied to sign it? Etc. Etc. is what you should know, Shibashish. Not all the protocols. Knowing all the protocols is not mandatory, but at least which all countries have signed, which all countries have not signed. What is the principle of it? You should remember. Not all treaties and conventions, Anamika. As I said, only the treaties and conventions where India is the part of. Anything where India is the part of becomes important. But say if any treaty is being signed between US and China, you don't need to remember that. But if any treaty is being signed between India and China, at least know the name of the treaty and what is it for. Summits and conferences are usually covered in the fact sheets itself. Okay. The reason I put it as a separate topic is it deserves to be remembered, right? And later on in January first week, we'll provide you a special revision ebook for summits and conferences as well. Yes, Simran, only that much is what you need to remember. International revolutions, only the important ones are what you need to remember. And you just need to remember the name of the revolution, what was the purpose, and it impacted which country. Only three things. You don't need to remember the date of the revolution. You don't need to remember the year of the revolution. You just need to remember the name, countries involved, and the purpose. That is what you need to remember in international revolutions. Inventions and discoveries, you need to remember the name of the invention and the discovery and the person who did it. You cannot remember all, but at least try to remember as many as possible. Simran, yes, all revolutions, but you just need to remember the name of the revolution, the name of the countries involved, and the purpose. You don't need to remember the date, year, and all the details. Just a very, very high level data that what's the name of the revolution, what were the countries involved, and what was the purpose. There is no more important international revolution or less important international revolution. You need to study all. Inventions and discoveries comes low in the priority order, Anamika, so you have a lot of other ebooks to complete before that. As I said, if you have less time, at least cover the first 50% of the list, that is on page 1, then the page 2 things. So inventions and discoveries, go through them at least once or twice, and more if you have time left, but at least once you should go through them. Factories of January to March, only if someone of you, some of you have completed all of the above and or say most of the above, then go through fact sheets of January to March. Otherwise, not very important. And last, economic survey. This is the least important one because of the current situation where economic survey has very less importance. I don't expect any major question to come from economic survey. So you could skip it if you don't have time. Vinisha, that will be tough. That will be challenging. I will try to provide the no get uploaded the individual PDFs, but it will be just a manual effort for me to put all of them in one single PDF. I'll try to get the PDFs uploaded. However, PDFs will not have answers, so the best way is to go through the videos because videos will have answers also. Yes, Anamika, April to December is going to suffice. Ronit, yes, I'm going to provide you this PDF. Don't worry. I'm going to provide you this PDF in the group. I'll share this PDF in the group. I'll share this PDF in the group. Terrorist organizations is same as militant outfits. 5-year plans are what you can skip. Union budget, again, you can skip. Anything important would already be covered in the government schemes. Sustainable goals, you can skip. They are the least important ones. The list which I've shared here is the most important one and the ones you should complete first. I will share this PDF in the group right away after the session so that you can keep this for the reference. I will also be sharing the recording of this video so that you know that what all kind of questions can come from different topics. Okay. So Vinisha, I will just ensure tomorrow I will double check that none of the recordings are missing from your courses, and I'll also get the PDFs uploaded for the questions part. Yes, Anamika, you can remember the terrorist part. Economic survey is what you can leave, Simran, is what I said. Okay. I guess, yeah, so that's a sequence in which you should be studying the ebooks. That's a priority order. And for few things, we will provide you some more ebooks. So for if any topic ebook is not there, it will be provided. So you don't need to worry. Simran, there it would not have been uploaded yet. As I said, I will double check the recordings tomorrow and I will get any missing recording uploaded. Okay, don't worry. Great. So with this, we come to the end of this session. I hope this session was of some use. Both the books, both the ebooks of books and authors you need to study, Vinisha. Okay, okay. So part two is not uploaded. It will get uploaded. I will get it checked. Don't worry. As I said, if anything is missing here, everything will get uploaded. Don't worry. There are certain ebooks which will be uploaded in the coming week and some in the January first week. Rest everything you would already be having. I hope this session was of some use. You have a better clarity of the order in which you should be studying, what all ebooks you can leave, what what kind of questions can come, and rest for everything. I am there in the WhatsApp group to answer any doubts you have. We will now meet on in the next live GK session, which mostly we will be having on Wednesday. Okay. Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you. I will share this PDF in the group shortly. Thank you. Good night.